Say it with me. I don't raise my voice, I raise my value. Again, louder in conviction, but not in volume. I don't raise my voice, I raise my value. Write this down. Respect is not requested, it is communicated. Let me confront you in love. Being ignored in your house, in your team, in your boardroom is not first a loudness problem. It is a value and clarity problem. The scripture says, for if the trumpet gives an uncertain sound, who shall prepare himself to the battle? 1 Corinthians 14:8. Your life is a trumpet. If the sound is uncertain, people will not move, not because they hate you, but because they cannot hear you. They don't follow noise, they follow meaning. I am not here to massage your feelings. I am here to repair your authority. Some of you think shouting proves certainty. No, shouting often exposes confusion. Jesus taught them as one having authority and not as the scribes. Matthew 7:29. Authority is a tone born of identity, not a technique born of panic. Say it with me. Authority is a tone born of identity. Write this down. If you keep trying to get respect with volume, you will lose it. Respect follows communicated value. Your mouth is not a siren. Your mouth is a steering wheel. If the wheel shakes, the car wanders. If the wheel is steady, everything behind it stabilizes. Here is the truth many avoid. You have been training people how to treat you by the way you speak. Vague words teach them to delay. Sloppy words teach them to debate. Emotional words teach them to defend. Clear words teach them to decide. Boundaried words teach them to respect. Calm words teach them to lean in. Write this down. Whatever you tolerate in conversation, you authorize in culture. If you tolerate interruption, you authorize chaos. If you tolerate lateness in your language, you authorize drift in your deadlines. If you tolerate your own rambling, you authorize confusion as your manager. Today, I make you a promise as your mentor. I will place in your hand 5 leadership phrases for tense moments. Phrases that carry boundaries, clarity, and calm authority. They will be simple, but they will not be soft. They will be short, but they will not be shallow. Because death and life are in the power of the tongue. Proverbs 18:21, we will choose life-giving phrases that create order. As a man thinketh, so he speaketh, and as he speaketh, so he leadeth. Proverbs 23:7 application. Hear me. You are not an accident. You are an assignment. Genesis 1:26 says you were created in the image of God and designed for dominion. Dominion is not first a shout, it is a stance. It is the placement of words that frame reality. This is training, not entertainment. We are not here to impress. We are here to implement. In a moment, I will hand you language that shifts rooms. But before we get there, settle this decree in your spirit. I will never again try to purchase respect with volume. I will invest respect with value. Write it down, seal it, and say it again. I don't raise my voice, I raise my value. Lean in. The people who talk over you are simply responding to what you tolerate. Where you tolerate vagueness, they insert their own agenda. Where you tolerate lateness in your words, they park procrastination in your calendar. Where you tolerate disrespect, they test the fence again. Where you tolerate emotional leakage, they surf your mood instead of hear your message. Write this down. Your mouth is a gate. Gates don't scream, they secure. James says, behold also the ships, they are turned about with a very small helm. Even so the tongue is a little member. James 3:4-5. The rudder doesn't shout at the ocean, it sets a course. If you keep tolerating a loose rudder, don't blame the waves. Say it with me. Leadership is born when toleration ends. Again, leadership is born when toleration ends, especially in your mouth. Weak language is tolerated chaos. Let your communication be yea, yea, nay, nay, for whatsoever is more than these cometh of evil. Matthew 5:37. That is Jesus speaking about linguistic boundaries. Ephesians 4:29 adds, let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good to the use of edifying. Write this down. Edifying speech is engineered, not emotional. You don't stumble into order. You speak it on purpose. The moment you stop tolerating sloppy speech is the moment people start locating your leadership. What did I say? Let me confront the habits that keep you in follower mode. Over-explaining because you fear disapproval. You drown simple decisions in paragraphs. Apologizing for boundaries. Sorry to ask. Sorry to say no. Sorry I can't. Apology belongs to error, not to boundaries. Asking permission for your role. Is it okay if I do the thing I was hired to do? Narrating fear. I'm worried this might fail. I don't want to offend. I hope this makes sense. Hear me with love. That is not humility. That is insecurity on the loudspeaker. Proverbs 25-28 says, he that hath no rule over his own spirit is like a city without walls. When your spirit has no walls, your sentences have no doors. Everything walks in and out. Write this down. Uncurbed emotion is not authenticity. It is abdication. You don't need a title to lead. You need functional authority. Functional authority is the stewardship of words, clarity, timing, and measured tone aligned with assignment. You are not an accident. You are an assignment. Your assignment requires a mouth that governs, not a mouth that guesses. Say it with me. I govern my world with wise words. Titles impress crowds. Function instructs teams. Who's the leader in the moment? No one. And everyone who speaks with clarity at the right time becomes the leader of that moment. This is why Jesus taught as one having authority. Matthew 7:29. Not louder, clearer, cleaner, consequential. Let's do a micro-audit. Write this down. This is homework for your destiny. Identify the top 2 moments you are consistently ignored. Meeting with cross-functional teams, family dinner at 7 p.m., client check-ins. Now, write the exact first sentence you usually say in those moments. Be honest. Do you start with apology, with a history lesson, with a sigh, with I just wanted to? Circle the words that weaken you. Underline the drift. Then ask, what outcome was I responsible to create? What standard was I sent to protect? If you cannot answer, you will always narrate and never navigate. From this moment, end toleration in your mouth. Shorten the distance between your assignment and your sentence. Replace over-explaining with clarity. Replace apology for boundaries with peace in boundaries. Replace permission seeking with responsibility taking. Say it with me. I don't beg for my role, I bring my role. Again, I don't raise my voice, I raise my value. Whatever you tolerate, you will never change. End the toleration, and you will hear it. The sound of your own leadership arriving in your words. Your mouth is reporting your mind. Write this down. Your words are the printout of your heart. Proverbs 23:7 says, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Jesus adds, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. Matthew 12:34. Heart, there is not emotion. It is belief system, your subconscious operating system. If the operating system is infected with doubt, the printer spits out disclaimers. If the operating system is settled in assignment, the printer releases decrees. Say it with me. I don't print panic, I print purpose. Let me explain why people have been ignoring you. Inconsistency signals uncertainty. Uncertainty invites interruption. Write that down. When your phrases begin with, I just thought maybe, I'm not sure, but perhaps we could, you're sending a signal, I have not decided. James says a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. James 1-8. People don't follow wobble. They wait it out. They test it. They talk over it. Not because they hate you, but because your mouth told them. Your mind is still negotiating. Hear me with love. Negotiation language is a confession of unbelief in your own mandate. Leadership is 80% mentality and 20% skill. We train skills, we must transform mentality. 2 energies stand behind every sentence you speak. Anxious persuasion or calm direction. Anxious persuasion begs for agreement. Please see it my way. I need you to like this. Calm direction offers destination. Here's where we're going. Here's why. Here's your role. One pleads for applause. The other provides a map. Write this down. Clarity is not a mood, it is a decision. Think of an aircraft captain. Engines can roar, weather can shake, but when the captain speaks, it's short, certain, specific. That voice lands planes. Your voice must land decisions. Identity settles energy. You are not an accident. You are an assignment. Genesis 1:26 declares you were manufactured in the image of a king and licensed for dominion. Assignments don't apologize for existing. Say it with me. My words carry assignment, not apology. Again, my mouth is not a mirror of fair. It is an instrument of governance. When you anchor your identity, sentences shorten, tone stabilizes, and rooms relax under your stewardship. This is why Jesus taught us one having authority. Matthew 7:29. Not performing, governing. Now hear the rule of this session. The 5 phrases I will give you are not scripts to act. They are decisions to announce. Actors perform, leaders decide. Let your yea be yea and your nay, nay. Matthew 5:37. These phrases only produce respect when they carry a decision that was made before the meeting, before the email, before the conflict. Write this down. Decide privately so you can speak publicly. Settle it in your heart, then send it from your mouth. Say it with me. If my mindset is unsure, my mouth will negotiate. When my mindset is settled, my mouth will govern. That is the law. Seal it. Let me take you to the engine room. Years ago, I opened the hood of a car that wouldn't start. Big shiny battery, strong alternator, brand new plugs, but a $4 terminal wire had loosened. One tiny wire shut down 2 tons of potential. Write this down. Importance is contextual. Leadership is functional. Who's the leader in the engine? The piston, the crankshaft, the cam, the battery. No one and everyone. Everyone leads when it is their turn to function. When the piston moves, it leads combustion. When the plug fires, it leads ignition. When that $4 wire connects, it leads continuity. Remove it, and the mighty parts become expensive decorations. The scripture already taught this. For the body is not one member, but many. The eye cannot say to the hand, I have no need of thee. 1 Corinthians 12:14-21. Paul is not giving anatomy, he is giving governance. Respect in the body is recognition of function. Say it with me. Respect is recognition of function. Again, respect is recognition of function. Write this down. People don't respect titles, they respect clear function, and function must be spoken. If the part will not announce what it is and what it requires, the system will assume or ignore it. Silence in a system is an invitation for confusion to campaign. Apply this to your meetings, your home, your projects. You may be a small wire on paper, a coordinator, a parent without a paycheck title, a junior analyst. But when you speak from your function clearly, calmly, within assignment, the room must adjust. Respect is not applause, it is adjustment. It is the calendar moving. It is the budget reallocating. It is the team changing sequence. Jesus said, let your yea be yea and your nay, nay. Matthew 5:37. That is the voice of function. Short, sure, specific. Write this down. Function clarifies 4 realities. What you own, what you require, what is standard, and what is next. When you do not speak those, you force the room to lead your role for you. That is how drift is born. Ephesians 4:16 says, the whole body is fitly joined together by that which every joint supplieth. Joints supply by connection and communication. Your connection is your role. Your communication is your sentence. Now, here is our framework for the engine of language. I will hand you 5 functional leadership tools, phrases that make your role audible and your authority measurable. 1, the clarity function. It names the outcome and the standard, so combustion has a destination. 2, the boundary function. It defines what you are not available for and what you will deliver, so voltage stays within safe current. 3, the decision function. It selects a path and provides one sentence of rationale, so the transmission shifts. 4, the accountability function. It asks sequential questions, so moving parts align. What's first? What's next? What's done? 5, the closure function. It seals agreements with owners and timelines, so the engine doesn't leak what it produced. Say it with me. Function must be spoken. Write it down. When I speak from function, I lead without shouting. Your title may sit on the door, but your function sits in your mouth. Now I'm going to give you language that makes your function audible. Phrase number 1. Say it with me. Let me be clear. Here's the outcome. Here's the standard. Again, with authority, but not with volume. Let me be clear. Here's the outcome. Here's the standard. Write this down. Clarity is compassion, and it is dominion over confusion. For God is not the author of confusion, but of peace. 1 Corinthians 14:33. Peace has a voice. It sounds like clarity. Why does this command respect? Because when you define reality, you end debate about what reality is. People cannot keep negotiating definitions if you have already written the dictionary for the moment. Habakkuk 2:2 says, write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. Plainness produces motion. Vague produces meetings. Plain produces movement. Write it down. People don't resist clarity. They resist the consequences of clarity. Your job is not to manage their feelings. Your job is to steward the standard. Here is the formula. Write it big. Outcome, destination plus standard, measure plus time frame, clock. Outcome answers. Where are we going? Standard answers. How will we measure it? Time frame answers. By when must it exist? If one is missing, drift enters. If all three are present, debate shrinks and delivery grows. Example 1, meeting drift. You are on slide 4 and someone takes you to slide 4017. You breathe, you straighten your spine, and you govern the room with your mouth. Let me be clear. Here's the outcome. By 10:45, we finalize the 3 sprint items for release. 12. Here's the standard. All 3 must meet compliance X and load under 2 seconds. Time frame. Decisions locked by 10:45. Then you pause. Short sentences. No apology. Watch the room return. Example 2. Scope creep. Client says, can we also add a chat bot and a new dashboard? Calmly, not harsh. Let me be clear. Our outcome is MVP V1 with 2 workflows live. The standard is QA, pass at 100% on critical tests. Time frame is Thursday, 2 p.m. Additions will be evaluated in V1, 1 after sign-off. Respect follows boundaries you speak. Example 3, family expectations. Your teenager drifts on curfew because you taught them fog. Tonight you reframe. Let me be clear outcome. You are home in the house by 10 p.m. Standard. Phone on, location sharing, active, door locked, time frame, tonight and every school night. That is not harsh. That is protective love. Clarity is compassion. Example 4, team deliverable. Designer to developer. Let me be clear outcome. A clickable prototype with 5 user paths. Standard, components named to our design system. No custom fonts. Pass handoff checklist. Time frame, Wednesday, 3 p.m. Notice the cadence. Calm, certain, specific. Write this down. Do not confuse clarity with cruelty. Loudness is insecurity. Calm clarity is authority. Jesus often began, verily, verily, I say unto you, truly, truly, certainty before content. Authority precedes information. Your phrase is the gavel that calls the court to order. Tone low, pace slow, eye contact steady, then deliver. Outcome, standard, time frame. If they object, repeat the standard, not the emotion. What did I say is the outcome? What did I say is the standard? What did I say is the time frame? Short questions bring reality back to the table. Say it with me one more time. Let me be clear. Here's the outcome. Here's the standard. Write it down and deploy it today. Clarity is compassion, and it is dominion over confusion. When you speak it, watch respect appear as calendars shift, budgets adjust, and people run who can finally read. Say it with me. I'm not available for that. Here's what I can do. Again, steady and sure. I'm not available for that. Here's what I can do. Write this down. Respect increases when people discover your yes has boundaries and your no has peace. This phrase ends toleration without drama. It denies access to what violates your assignment while offering a lawful alternative that preserves relationship and momentum. Nehemiah said, I am doing a great work so that I cannot come down. Nehemiah 63. That is boundary language. Not available for distraction, available for destiny. Availability is leadership language. You are a steward of access to your time, your energy, and your values. Proverbs 4:23 commands, keep thy heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life. Guarding your heart includes guarding your calendar, guarding your focus, guarding your tone. Even Jesus said availability. He withdrew himself into the wilderness and prayed. Luke 5:16. Crowds demanded. He chose assignment. He often said no with peace, then offered the next town, the next time, the next context. Write this down. Availability is not rudeness, it is rulership. How do you deploy it? Separate the person from the behavior. Address the channel, not the child of God. Keep your tone low, your face soft, your words precise. One delivery, one repeat if necessary. No argument. Let your yea be yea and your nay nay. Matthew 5:37. Debate is oxygen for manipulation. Boundaries remove the air. Examples to practice now. Disrespectful tone. I'm not available for that tone. Here's what I can do. Continue this conversation when we're both speaking with respect. I'm free at 2:30. You didn't insult them. You identified a standard and offered a door. Last minute demand. I'm not available for same day turnarounds that compromise quality. Here's what I can do. Slot this for Friday 10 a.m. at our standard. Or we can reduce scope to one deliverable today. Come. Options. Lawful alternatives. Gossip. I'm not available for conversations about people who aren't present. Here's what I can do. Schedule 10 minutes with them included, or focus on facts and decisions within our remit. You close the sewer and open the channel. Unclear task. I'm not available for vague asks. Here's what I can do. Begin once we state the outcome, the standard, and the time frame. Pair boundary with clarity, and drift has nowhere to sleep. Manipulative urgency. I'm not available for emergencies created by neglect. Here's what I can do. Triage this against agreed priorities. If it's critical by our criteria, I'll move it. If not, it goes next in the queue. Your piece just trained the room. Write this down. Boundaries are bridges, not walls. They carry the relationship over chaos into order. The Holy Spirit is called the Spirit of Peace. Lead like He lives in you. Say it with me again. I'm not available for that. Here's what I can do. Your future will thank you for that sentence. Your team will relax under it. Your house will feel safer because of it. You are not an accident. You are an assignment. Steward your availability and watch respect rise to meet your peace. Now we add the third tool to your mouth. Write this down. Decisions create direction. Say it with me. Here's my decision and here's the reason in one sentence. Again, steady. Here's my decision and here's the reason in one sentence. Why does this command respect? Because people trust leaders who decide. Joshua said, choose you this day whom ye will serve. Joshua 24-15. Choice is leadership. Long explanations are not leadership. Long explanations are often negotiations with disapproval. James calls double-mindedness instability. James 1-8. When you over-explain, you confess instability. When you decide, you provide a road. Your one sentence must anchor to vision, standard, or mission, not to your mood, not to last night's drama. Vision is more important than leadership because vision authorizes leadership. Write this down. Tie your reason to something larger than you. Our agreed outcome, our non-negotiable standard, our shared mission. One sentence. If it takes a paragraph, you're still deciding. How do you handle pushback? Don't enter the court of opinions. Keep it in the court of standards. Acknowledge briefly, restate the decision, return to the standard, calm voice, short sentences. I hear you. Here's my decision. Here's the reason aligned to our standard. Then stop. Silence is a gavel when your decision is anchored. Let your yea be yea and your nay, nay. Matthew 5:37. A leader does not beg for permission to lead. A leader decides and then manages the consequences. Examples to practice now. Budget cuts. Here's my decision pause. Initiative B for Q3. Reason in one sentence. We must reallocate 12% to hit our margin standard while protecting core delivery. Pushback arrives. I hear the concern. Decision stands. Our margin standard governs the quarter. Prioritization. Here's my decision. Ship the security patch before new features. Reason. Safety and trust are mission critical. Features are optional. Role clarity. Here's my decision. Sarah owns client communications for accounts A through D. Reason. Single point of contact reduces risk and aligns with her function. Client boundary. Here's my decision. We will not support the legacy browser. Reason. It violates our quality standard and increases support cost against mission. Parenting call. Here's my decision. Phone parks in the kitchen at 9 p.m. Reason. Sleep and grades are our home standard. You didn't scream, you governed. Write this down. Decision language is delivery language. Short, specific, sourced in vision. Proverbs 29:18 says, where there is no vision, the people perish. They wander, they talk over you, they improvise a map. But when you decide from vision, the wandering stops. Say it with me. I decide and I manage the consequences. Again, I decide and I manage the consequences. You are not an accident. You are an assignment. Assignments speak like captains. Captains don't narrate their nerves. They announce their heading. Finally, master the cadence. Breathe. Lower your tone. Here's my decision. 7 words or less. Here's the reason in one sentence. Vision, standard, or mission. If they press, repeat the standard, not your story. If they persist, schedule a review against metrics, not emotions. Decisions create direction. Your room is waiting for a heading. Give it. Say it with me. Walk me through your plan. What's first? What's next? What's done? Again, slower, steady, certain. Walk me through your plan. What's first? What's next? What's done? Write this down. Respect grows when your questions force reality to appear without you raising your voice. This phrase is not accusation. It is an invitation to responsibility. It shifts the energy from blame to ownership. It makes the other person build the road they say they are traveling. The plans of the diligent lead surely to abundance. Proverbs 21:5. Plans, not promises, plans. Jesus led with questions that demanded clarity. What wilt thou that I should do unto thee? Mark 10:51. Who do men say that I am? Mark 8:27. Where have you laid him? John 11:34. Questions govern the room. Write this down. Questions can govern a room when they are designed to produce ownership. Here is the leadership move. Your tone stays calm. Your words force, sequence, resources, and time onto the table. 3 checkpoints. First, sequence. What's first? What's next? What's done? Second, resources. What do you need? From whom? By what channel? Third, deadline. When will each step be completed? Turn fog into footprints. Let all things be done decently and in order. 1 Corinthians 14:40. Order has a sound. It sounds like steps. Misdeliverable? Breathe. No lecture, no sarcasm. Calmly. Walk me through your plan. What's first? What's next? What's done? They speak. If they wander, you anchor. Stop at first. What's the first step? Who owns it? When? Then what's next? What resource do you require? From whom? Finally, what's done? What is already completed and verified against the standard? If they cannot state first, next, done, you have discovered the problem. There was never a plan, only intention. Write this down. Intention without sequence is fantasy. Chronic lateness, not a debate about character, a construction of steps. Walk me through your plan to arrive by 7:55. What's first? Set 2 alarms at 6:15 and 6:20. What's next? Clothes and bag prep by 9 p.m. What's done? Commute time yesterday at 30 minutes. Deadline, this starts tonight. If they object, return to sequence, not emotion. Clarity tames chaos. Repeated excuses bring reality to the table. Walk me through your plan to eliminate the blocker you keep mentioning. First, email procurement by 2 p.m. Next, book a 10-minute stand-up with DevOps for access. Done, draft already written, waiting for approval. Deadline, all 3 by Thursday noon. The room relaxes under structured ownership. Conflict between team members, don't referee feelings, referee process. Walk me through your plan to resolve it. First, each of you writes your expected outcome and non-negotiables, 1 paragraph by 3 p.m. Next, joint meeting tomorrow with a shared agenda, decisions only. Done? A written agreement in the project doc, who owns what and by when, what resources. Neutral facilitator me for 20 minutes. Deadline, agreement on file by Friday at 11. You didn't take sides. You created a road. Write this down. Accountability is not anger, it is architecture. Your question drafts the blueprint. Say it with me again. Walk me through your plan. What's first? What's next? What's done? You are not an accident. You are an assignment. Assignments govern with questions that birth order. Use sequence to expose fantasy. Resources to prevent excuses. And deadlines to convert motion into completion. Respect follows the leader who can make reality appear calmly with 3 checkpoints in short sentences. Say it with me. To close this, here's what we agreed. Here's who owns what. Here's when. Again, slower, like a gavel. To close this, here's what we agreed. Here's who owns what. Here's when. Write this down. Closure is a form of leadership dominion. What you don't close will control you. Even Jesus modeled closure. It is finished, John 19:30. Isaiah said, bind up the testimony, seal the law among my disciples. Isaiah 8:16, bind it, seal it, finish it. Leaders create finish lines. Why does this command respect? Because closure prevents manipulation, revisionist history, and endless meetings. If you don't close the conversation will reopen itself at 2 a.m. in someone's text thread. If you don't lock the agreement, opinions will arrive tomorrow pretending to be facts from yesterday. Write this down. Vagueness is the devil's playground for delay. Some of you keep leaving doors open because you want to be liked. Tough love. Leaders don't leave conversations open because they fear being disliked. They close them because they love the mission, they love the people, and they refuse to let uncertainty abuse both. Let your communication be yea, yea, nay, nay. Matthew 5:37. Yea and nay are closures. Here is the structure. Agreement summary in 1 or 2 sentences. Ownership names, not departments. Clock, date, and time. Check in the next moment we measure. 4 elements. Say it with me. Agreement, ownership, clock, check in. Deliver it calmly. Low tone. Short sentences. Then pause until you hear acknowledgement. Finally, document it. 1 paragraph recap sent within the hour. Closure spoken, then written, then calendared. Amen is not a feeling, it is an operational stamp. So be it. Examples. Performance conversation. You have addressed missed targets. You end like this. To close this, here's what we agreed. You will deliver weekly status by Friday, 3 p.m. and hit 95% on ticket closure for 2 sprints. Who owns what? You own execution. I own removing blockers within 24 hours of your request. Here's when. Metrics start this Monday. Check in. We meet next Thursday at 9:15 to review the dashboard. Then you email the 2 bullets, the names, the dates, the time, meeting over. Drift block. Partnership decision. After debate about scope and revenue share, to close this agreement, we proceed with phase 1 only. Revenue split 60/40. Ownership, we own product and QA. You own marketing and customer success. When? Contract signed by Tuesday 4 p.m. Kickoff Thursday 10 a.m. check-in, joint review after 4 weeks, Wednesday 11A. The room exhales, respect appears. Family conflict, siblings arguing about caring for mom. To close disagreement, care schedule is rotating weekly. Ownership, John, maids and appointments, Alicia, meals and errands, me, finances and bills. When new schedule starts, Sunday, 6 p.m. check-in. A 5-minute call next Saturday, 5 p.m. to adjust. No more guilt texts. Boundaries blessed by clarity. Client revisions. Endless loops. Stop here. To close this agreement, we are implementing rounds 2 and 3 only within original scope. Ownership. Your team consolidates feedback in one doc. Our team implements and QAs. When? Consolidated notes by Friday noon. Delivery next Wednesday, 3 p.m. Check-in. A 20-minute sign-off call Wednesday, 3:15. You honored them without renting your sanity. Write this down. Closing is kindness. It frees minds, protects calendars, and teaches the culture how to finish. Say it again with me. To close this. Here's what we agreed. Here's who owns what. Here's when. Use your calm spine. Use short sentences. Bind it. Seal it. Send it. Calendar it. You are not an accident. You are an assignment. Assignments don't leak, they land. What you close today will not control you tomorrow. The lion doesn't roar to convince the forest. He roars to announce what he already knows. Write this down. Authority is not volume. Authority is certainty. The elephant is bigger. The buffalo is stronger. The giraffe is taller. But the lion walks in and every animal adjusts. Why? Attitude. Belief. Say it with me. My eyes say that's an elephant. My belief says that's lunch. Proverbs 17:27 says, he that hath knowledge spareth his words. The wise reduce words as certainty increases. The lion does not negotiate his place with noise. He reveals it with presence. The force isn't led by decibels. It is led by belief with a calm spine. Now, delivery mastery. Write this down. Tone low, pace slow, words few, eyes steady, pause long. That's the calm spine. Your spine is your statement before your sentence. Lower your pitch by 1 step. Breathe through your nose. Shoulders drop. Hold eye contact for 2 seconds. Then release 1 phrase, not a paragraph. Ecclesiastes 3-7 says there is a time to keep silence and a time to speak. When your phrase is clear, your silence is leadership. Say it once, then be quiet. Let the room move to your clarity. Isaiah 30:15. In quietness and in confidence shall be your strength. Quietness is not weakness. Quietness is strength under control. Practice with me. Phrase 1, calm tempo. Let me be clear. Here's the outcome. Here's the standard. Stop, breathe, be quiet. If someone rushes you, interruption control is not anger, it is order. Nest this gently. Hold on, let me finish. Then continue. Here's the outcome. Here's the standard. You didn't fight, you fenced the moment. James 1:19 commands, be swift to hear, slow to speak, slow to wrath. Slow your words, and wrath loses oxygen. Again. Phrase 2, I'm not available for that. Here's what I can do. Drop the shoulders. Deliver the first clause. Slight pause. Then the alternative. Then silence. Let the boundary stand without a sermon. What did I say? Say it back to me slowly. I'm not available for that. Here's what I can do. Good. Phrase 3. Here's my decision and here's the reason in 1 sentence. 7 words or less for the decision. 1 sentence for the reason tied to vision or standard. Then stop, watch, respect, appear when you do not audition your choice for approval. What did I say? Decision, then 1 sentence. Short, certain. Still, phrase 4. Walk me through your plan. What's first? What's next? What's done? Tone like a teacher, not a tyrant. Ask, then be quiet. Do not rescue them from the silence. Silence makes thinking surface. Authority is heard most clearly when it is calm. Phrase 5. To close this, here's what we agreed. Here's who owns what. Here's when. Deliver like a gavel. then pause until you hear acknowledgement. If two voices start at once, hold on, let me finish. Then complete the clock and the check-in. Silence. Meeting over. Write this down. The pause is the proof that you believe what you just said. If you rush to fill the space, you confess insecurity. The lion's pause is the forest permission structure. Your pause gives the room time to align. Say it with me. Short sentences, low tone, long pause. Again, short sentences, low tone, long pause. What did I say? Authority is heard most clearly when it is calm. You are not an accident. You are an assignment. Lead with a calm spine and let your silence carry your certainty. You are not an accident. You are an assignment. Therefore, your mouth must match your mandate. Write this down. If you don't deploy the language immediately, you will return to toleration, and toleration is the graveyard of leaders. James 1:22 says, "Be ye doers of the word, and not hearers only." Doers deploy, hearers drift. For the next 48 hours, your assignment is to speak like the leader God designed. Death and life are in the power of the tongue. Proverbs 18:21. Choose life, choose leadership. Here is your 4-8-hour deployment. Write this down. One setting, two phrases, one closure. First, pick one tense setting you already know is coming: home, work, or team. Don't hide from it, schedule it. It could be tomorrow's stand-up, tonight's family dinner, or the client check-in at 2 p.m. Second, pre-select two phrases you will use before you enter the room. For example, phrase #hone and phrase #5 for meetings, or phrase #2 and phrase #3 for boundaries and decisions. Pre-select, don't improvise. Third, prepare your closure. You will end the moment with, to close this, here's what we agreed. Here's who owns what. Here's when. Now, write it down. Script it. Outcome, standard, time, example. Let me be clear. Outcome. Finalize. Q2, hiring plan, standard. 3 roles. JD approved. Interview schedule. Time frame. 10:45. Boundary. I'm not available for off-topic debates. Here's what I can do. Capture them for Friday's parking lot. Decision. Here's my decision pause initiative B. Reason in one sentence. Margin standard first. Closure. To close this agreement. Ownership. Clock. Check-in. Put it on a card. Put it on your phone. Lock screen. Practice once out loud in a low tone. Then deploy. Expectation management. Write this down. The first time you speak with value, insecure people may resist. Resistance is proof of leadership emergence. Nehemiah said, "I am doing a great work so that I cannot come down." Nehemiah 6:3. When Sanballat mocked, Nehemiah did not descend to explain. He stayed at altitude and finished the wall. When you refuse to tolerate vagueness, the spirit of vagueness will test you. Do not raise your volume. Lower your pulse. Repeat the standard. Repeat the decision. Then close. Your calm will retrain the room. I want you to time stamp your obedience. Before 6 p.m. today, send yourself a text or calendar invite titled "Speak Like a Leader." 4-8-hour deployment. In the body, type your chosen setting, your 2 phrases, and your closure line. Share it with one accountability partner who will ask you, "Did you deploy?" Then do it. Before you sleep tonight, send a 1-paragraph recap to yourself. What you said, what shifted, what you will refine tomorrow. Leadership is 80% mentality and 20% skill. Repetition makes both permanent. Say it with me, loud and calm. I don't raise my voice, I raise my value. Again, I don't raise my voice, I raise my value. Say this: whatever I tolerate, I authorize. Again, whatever I tolerate, I authorize. Now decree, I will speak like a leader. Short sentences, low tone, long pause. One more time. I will speak like a leader. You are not an accident. You are an assignment. Leadership is born when toleration ends, especially in your mouth. Deploy the language in the next 48 hours, or you will return to the graveyard of toleration. Choose life, choose leadership, and speak.